Hello walkers, and welcome to Virginia City, Montana. It is the last day of January. You can see from the snow on the ground, and we are going to take a tour. I'm going to take you on a tour of Virginia City, a National Historic Landmark, and also the county seat of Madison County. My name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker, your virtual travel guide today. It is a beautiful day. I walked earlier over in Ennis, about 14 miles away, and it was windy and cold. Currently it's 30 degrees here, that's Fahrenheit, -1 degree Celsius, but the sun is shining and I'm wearing the right clothes, so it is nice. Excuse me. I'm starting here, sorry to be swerving around, at the information center. In fact, let's walk over there real quick. I think there's a bit of a museum in here. I haven't spent as much time over here as I'd like to. I think it's a really cool place. Definitely a great place to stop if you're on a road trip through Montana. And I'm going to see if I can sort of let you see inside there. I don't know if you can see in there or not. Hopefully you can. Looks like some carriages or old cars or stuff. But anyway, it's a museum as well as a visitor center as well as a gas station. I'm going to take you down, there's a Virginia City Museum across the way there. I'm going to take you down Main Street, and then I'm going to loop back on, I think it's Cover Street, which is a little bit downhill. I don't know if I'm going to get up to the uphill side. The footing on those roads is not ideal this time of the year. But the traffic is, because even though that's like the third car that's passed, it's only the third car that's passed. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Virginia City. However, I'm having cell reception issues, or cell data issues, really, to be accurate. And so I can't give you all the sweet deets, but what I can do is put something in the description of the YouTube video a little later. Excuse me. So please forgive me and thank you for your patience. As we walk down this road, which is 287, Highway 287, I believe, I'm going to say, please leave me a comment if you've been here, or if you have any comments about here. Questions, I'd love to answer your questions if I can. This is a sign for the Brewery Follies, which is down there. We're going to get to that towards the end of the walk. Pardon me. But back to the comments. I love getting your comments. I've been getting some great ones, some personal stories, how you use these, if you enjoy them, feedback and suggestions. I had one, a person suggest I convey to you what it smells like in these places. I thought that was brilliant. I hadn't even thought of it. Today it smells like clean, fresh air. If that changes, I will let you know. Pardon me, I've got a bit of a runny nose today in this cold air, and that is getting down my throat, so I'm going to have to clear it every once in a while. Speaking of which, I can't imagine that there's more than a few hundred people that live here. Maybe, I'm going to guess 500. But I will clarify that in the description, in the YouTube description, so check that out. I mentioned that this is the county seat, and so over here is the courthouse. It's a little surprising to me that this is the county seat still, even though Ennis is so much bigger. However, I was reading an information sign, resisting change since 1863. Historic Nevada City, 1 mile. That's another kind of historic thing that it's more of a constructed thing where I believe they've purchased old buildings and brought them in. The story of Virginia City, though, is kind of interesting. It was a mining town. They got a bunch of placer gold deposits discovered, and it became a boom town, and they had lots of lawlessness and all the fun things associated with a mining boom town. And it was actually the territorial capital starting in 1864 when Montana became a territory. Got all of this from the information sign at the visitor center. You can see it's the Eagles across the way here on the left, that big building. And then you've got the Road Agent's Roost, German Fair, interesting. Vigilante gift shop. There's several restaurants, an ice cream store, several little museums and buildings you can duck into. The Boot Hill Mercantile, lots of stuff here. And then there's also, I believe, a couple hotels, a couple RV campgrounds and regular campgrounds. And here, pups. And plenty of places to stay. If you do choose. Also, right over the hill in Ennis is plenty of hotels. Look at these old buildings. I just love them. People are looking at me with this camera, wondering what the heck I'm doing. Anyway, that's part of the job, I guess. And I totally forgot where I was. Anyway, here's a cool old building. Bovey Memorial. Charles and Sue Bovey. Oh, I think they might be the folks. Hangman's Building. Interesting. So this was a gold mining town, territorial capital. And they were doing some dredge mining for a long time that kept them going into the 40s. And then maybe the Boveys, but a couple started buying up all these old buildings in the town, and eventually got it to be a Virginia City, be a National Historic Site. Sorry, I want to call out these restaurants and stuff. Tea and Scandal in the bank building is pretty cool. Looks like a coffee shop, tea shop, and then homemade ice cream here at the Creamery. I've heard that's really good. And then the bank and ATM. Here's the post office. And then the Virginia City Cafe and Pioneer Bar, as well as Photographic Emporium. You can get the old time photos. Those are a lot of fun. We've got a few of those, and it's totally worth it looking back on it. Rank's Drugstore and Mercantile. Interesting. That's a gift shop. And then Cousin's Candy Shop. In any case, National Historic Register. And so it's this really cool place. It's kind of off the beaten path, but not that far off the beaten path. Look at this old building here. So it's definitely, if you've got kids especially, it's a lot of fun. Or if you're just kind of meandering your way around Montana or between places, it's a great place to stop. If you're it's a beautiful scenic drive. There's a pass between here and Ennis. Here's the historical museum, and then of course there's also the Nevada City further down the road, which we will not be going to today. So it's just a really cool place. They even have, I think, a little narrow gauge railway that you can go on, and somewhere down here I think you can pan for garnets. Here's the Montana Post building, an old newspaper building. Let's see if I can get you a view inside without the reflection. It's always a little tricky. I think you can see that. We're crossing Jackson Street here. Up that way is the Bonanza Inn, I guess. And I'm not actually going to go up that road. I'm going to come down here to the end of this before we loop back to the right. And then here you've got a bunch of old buildings. I don't know if they're being used. It looks like they are. Those signs are new. And the other thing is my battery on my audio recorder is a little low, so hopefully it won't cut out. But there's no wind, so I can always use the GoPro. This is a really cool town. Love this old hotel, the Anaconda Hotel. I love the fact that I can just stand here in the middle of the road. Can't do this in summer, of course. It does get pretty busy, but I wouldn't say it gets crowded. Blacksmith and Wagon Shop, Overland Mail, and Express Office. I feel like this is cutting in and out. Anyway, we'll figure that out later. Nacho Mama's Burritos and more. Feels a little inappropriate, but I love these old buildings. And I'm going kind of slow here because I want to show you this stuff, both sides of the street, but I also don't want to do these sort of crazy whip pans. Fun old wooden boardwalk. I'm going to cross over here and show you that side, but I also want to show you this side because that's cool, right? Each one of these little wooden ramshackle buildings has a historical marker on it. Here's the S.L. Simpson building, the barber shop. I think these have been redone so that you can see what they were like, it looks like. If you want to learn more about this place, this is the trading company. Check out travelingmail.com. She's got a lot of great Montana articles, and also my wife, so that's cool. This is the blacksmith shop. See what's in there. As well as Visit Montana, or I think we're in Visit Yellowstone Country. That's a tourism region, and they have a lot of information about activities and places to go and travel and just lots of fun stuff to do. This is the another blacksmith shop here. I'll just walk out in the street. A little easier. All right. And then super fun here. Looks like this is some outdoor dining and maybe some music. Ooh, a saloon. Bale of Hay Saloon. Looks like that's fully operational in the on season. It is out of season most assuredly at the moment. Looks like a fun place to go. It's the Opera House with live theater and vaudeville. I've heard about the, well, I think this is the narrow gauge railway down here, the start of it. I've heard about certainly the Vigilante Theater and the Brewery Follies, but I have not heard about this Opera House live theater. You can see the narrow gauge railroad tracks, some old buildings, the old depot down here, art gallery and custom jewelry. I'm getting some of that smell of cottonwood. Beautiful, kind of a sweet smell. It's nice. And you can hear the ravens doing their burbling. I'm gonna wait for this truck to pass. And then I'm gonna cross back over because, sorry about that. We're gonna go up Cover Street, I think it is. And see the buildings up there, and there's some residential stuff, and as well as a bunch of older buildings. People do live here, a lot of nice homes up in the hills, as well as a lot of little historic places down here in town. I would say that not really anything is open in the winter, in this time of year, but in the summer it's all pretty much good to go. I don't know I assume they have the typical safety regulations that everywhere else in the state has. But other than that, they're, like I said, candy shops, restaurants, bars, breweries, etc. Museums. Lots of stuff to do here. You could spend a day or two maybe. Well, yeah, I'd say, especially if you got here in the morning, you could spend the day and then maybe go see the Brewery Follies in the evening. I'm gonna have to clear my throat here. Excuse me. And then have a drink after and then head out the next day. Love these old log homes. I mean, who knows how old these are? They could be 100 years old. They could be 150 years old. or they could be 50 years old. Excuse me. This kind of low cabin over here, I think this might be the hangman's house. No, it's the Sim Ferguson cabin. And I have to assume that in the summer, you can go in there. Here, over here, look, this is a historic place as well. Looks like it's lived in. The Thexton House. And then you've got this old place that's been updated, which is pretty. I like these logs on the front of the entryway. Now also up here, if we go down here, when we make a right, I'll show you the sign, but there's a place to make a left to go up to the cemetery, which kind of overlooks the town. And I won't be going up there today, just because I think it's a little bit further than I want to go. Nice little creek running through town here. But if you do come here, check it out. It's kind of a neat thing. I think they've got a boot hill. There was a road agent something or other on the main drag there, which of course were kind of highway robbers and vigilantes is a big thing here, which have to assume there's some stories around that. Some vigilante justice must have gone on. We are pretty high up. I haven't looked up the altitude. So in the summer, when you're here, I highly recommend staying on top of being hydrated. People come out here from the low country, and they just don't realize how much water you lose just breathing and walking around. So that's my little pro tip for visiting Montana in general, really. Coming up on Jackson Street. Well, we're only at 5,700 feet, which is 1,750 meters. The old building here. That's the Connery place. Sorry about that. This looks like it's a electrical substation or something that's been made to look, oh, it's a internet cell tower type thing, made to look like an old building. I like that they did that. I also like looking at the backs of some of these old buildings. You know, it must have been pretty interesting to have seen this back in the day. Horses and wagons, getting a little bit of smells, some wood smoke from people heating with their wood stoves here. This is the Vigilante house, which I'm going to guess is probably a vacation rental, but I'm not really sure. I'm not sure what the deal is over here either. This arched, fenced off area. Yeah, housing pad. Looks like this place might be for sale. The Vigilante house. Laura Gilmore. And I'm not sure what street this is, but we're on Cover Street. You can see Main Street off to the right. So in the back, you see the courthouse up there. I guess we just crossed Van Buren. I love the light today. And it's such a reprieve from the wind up here. Look at this beautiful little creek flowing through here. Really peaceful. It's amazing how many of these houses have these historic plaques. It's like, even back here, every other one has one, which is pretty neat. This one, I think, is newer, but they've done it up as an old barn or something. Maybe it was an old barn? Who knows? They do, probably. This big building, newer building, is just county office, administrative offices. And then we've got this, I love it, purple, yellow, and pink house with a big "Do Not Tread on Me" flag out there, usually associated with gun rights. You see some old cabins up on the hill there. That's pretty neat. We're crossing Broadway. I spoke about the Vigilante Theater and the Brewery Follies. And I've never actually been, but I've heard that's a lot of fun. And it's just a small little theater company. They operate in the summer. I think from up here at the brewery, the old brewery, which I'm going to show you in just a second. And just a lot of fun, which I said. See more old buildings up there. It's like an old concrete version. No plaque though. So this little park over here is the Brewery Park, and some picnic tables and some, in the summer, some shade, which is going to be key, especially midday. But you can come down there, bring your kids, let them run around a little bit, burn off some of the sugar they've eaten, and then move on to the afternoon activities or whatever, you know. This is plan your own vacation. Super fun. All right, so looks like it's an old hotel and cabins situation down here. I don't believe they are currently operating, but I could be totally wrong. There are a couple things that imply use or habitation. Here's the old brewery. And there's some giant bird prints here in the snow that I'm going to guess is a turkey. Anyway, I don't normally like to go onto private land without permission, but this is sort of it's private, but I think they encourage people to come out here, take a look. These old storefronts. That middle one looks new. Oh, look at this ornate quilt pattern on the side of that barn. People put those up as sort of a brand style thing for quilting. It's kind of their signature quilt square. That's one of the more ornate ones I've seen. Very pretty. And this is the road up to, there's Boot Hill, which is where they bury the outlaws, I guess, and the road agents' graves, and then the Veterans Memorial Cemetery off to the right. Veterans Memorial Park, sorry. There's like, I think, a baseball field up there. This is also a great area, to get outside and into nature. A lot of great trails and Forest Service roads, that sort of thing. So, highly recommend that if you're not just into the old history. And I need to pick my route here. It's a neat old barn. I think this is the street where we started, but this didn't take as long as I thought. Did I tell you we started about 12:15? I don't think I did. And yet, that is the case. There's a neat open area down there. I think that might be where we started. Surely these are rentable cabins. Nope, here's where we started. Nice wave from that gentleman. Well, I guess we should go down here and Prospector's Playground. That looks like fun. And see a little bit more. What do you think? I think I'm gonna go across here and we'll go up this hill. Pardon my huffing and puffing. We are at 5,700 feet. If you, I should have called this out earlier, but I've started a Instagram channel or page, as well as a Facebook page and Twitter, but I've been posting some stuff there, little video clips and photos from our family walks. We had a great walk yesterday up to Lava Lake, which is in the Gallatin Canyon. Beautiful snowy day, and then it cleared up when we got to the top. Played around on the lake, had some food. It was great. But I didn't film it for city walks because, I wanted to spend time with the family and friends. And but I did take a few photos, so check out my Instagram for that. citywalks_virtual travel. Whew. Anyway, that was a very steep trail in the snow, but not so bad when you're with friends. Thexton House, I guess number 2. Let's get that. One of the things I have to do as I walk is to keep in mind the getting an image for a thumbnail. Here's a library. That's what that brick house is. So I always have to, there's all these little elements that go into making these walks. There's the audio, which I use a separate recorder, a Zoom H1N if you're interested. And then there's a stabilization. There's trying to do the research beforehand, which I'm admittedly not the best at. And giving you guys the information and getting good shots and not whip panning, trying to make these as good and as enjoyable as possible. And another element of that is getting a thumbnail that'll entice you guys to click. There's a sweet old lab, a little bit suspicious of me on that porch. Loving the sunlight. Probably wants an ear scratch. Some neat old houses here, and just absolutely tiny. You know, at least in the United States, we have gotten to the point where our houses are just immense. Which, don't get me wrong, I like having my space. This is a CW rank house. I like having my space, but in the travel that we've done, we've often, especially in Europe and Central America, you get these small vacation rental apartments, very often small, and you know, you fit. We as humans, I think, are remarkably able to adapt to varying circumstances, and we don't need huge spaces or huge amounts of things. At least I don't, and I think that's true for most people. Not to say we shouldn't be comfortable, but I think there's a difference between being comfortable and consuming for the sake of consuming, purchasing for the purpose of purchasing. And that is going to be the end of my little sermon there. I do like to try and do a little bit of good beyond just walking on these videos and share a little of my own opinions about making the world a better place, especially these days when it seems like the world is going through such trying times. Neat old church. Welcome visitors. That could be a good thumbnail. There we go. All right. So anyway, that's my story. Gosh, what a beautiful day, guys. I hope you're smiling. I sure am. This is just lovely, especially without the wind. Looks like we're on Idaho, and that church was St. Paul's Episcopal Church. And we're on Idaho, and I don't know what the cross street is there. It does not say. But if you find the Episcopal Church, that's where we were. And this little house over here, which is lived in, is the Henry Blake House John Reed residence. I don't know if that's the current resident. Historic. And you got this old cabin over here. I mean, if you think about the typical family home, the new ones going in around us are about 1,400 square feet. That looks like it's about 600. Maybe 8. That one has 2 stories. I'm gonna guess that's about 1,000. And you'll have to do the translation into meters, square meters. You know, people got by with a lot less. Comfy and cozy, probably a lot cheaper to heat as well. That's the Damus house, spacious Victorian luxury. Oh, I wonder if that was a combined house or something. I don't know what this place is. Old church of some sort. And then off to the right here, again, no street sign. Oh, maybe it is Idaho. I don't know what that is either. Let's see what the street is. Look at those views. Just for the heck of it. That's an older place for sure. A definite fixer up. Oh, Van Buren. So we crossed Van Buren on the other side of Maine. Idaho and Van Buren there. I'm going to guess this is a church or a community hall. But I am just guessing. The Google Maps could probably tell me. If I can get it. It is not going to tell me. It does have the Virginia City Gymnasium public restrooms. Interesting. An old gym, old athletic facility. Seems like you get enough of a workout just walking around here, these hills. Again, Main Street. And then Cover Street is down that little hill where we walked earlier. You can see some of the other houses, newer houses up on the hillside there. So I said earlier that no place is open. I did forget that today is Sunday. So there probably are places still open throughout the winter, like the coffee shop maybe, and a couple other little places. Certainly there's government employees that are here and they would need services. So there probably is stuff here. I should not have spoken like that. My apologies to the people of Virginia City, Montana. But in any case, it's much quieter than in the summer. Lots of fun still. All right, and back to the courthouse. I think it's only 37 minutes, 36 minutes. But I'm going to wrap it up here. I mean, we've covered a lot of ground, a good portion of Virginia City, so I feel comfortable leaving you with that. I want to thank you guys for coming, for walking with me today. I've enjoyed taking you around. Keep on hanging in there, guys. The vaccines are coming sooner for some than others, but hopefully we get this thing licked and be out there traveling and walking and socializing again. I'm not sure where our next walk will be yet. I'm thinking possibly around down in Paradise Valley. There's this place called Sage Lodge, and we're going to take a night there. And they've got a great property there, so I might do a little tour and walk around over there and show you there. But otherwise, I don't know. So click that notification bell and subscribe so that you get notified with the next walk. And until then, keep on stepping. All right, guys, take care.